What has the medical profession been thinking? Or rather, what is the thought process behind doctors and dietitians? For years, the medical profession has told people they will be better off if they stopped eating unhealthy foods and exercise more. What so many of my clients tell me is that they need to hear something that they don't know. Anybody that is overweight knows very well what the solution is. They know they need to work out and they need to train. As if you don't know why you should exercise more and eat fewer bad foods. What have the doctors been thinking? Now, when I work with people, either individually or in groups, I cringe when they tell me about doctors and dietitians who tell them that they should stop eating unhealthy foods as if that was news to them. I have never met an overweight person who did not know that they should not eat fewer unhealthy foods and exercise more. I've also never met an overweight individual who did not know that they should cut out back on sugar and calories in their diet. So we all know what we should do. Why don't we do it? Why don't we change our behavior? Research going back more than half a century already repeatedly shows that around 80% of dieters ultimately rejoined the weight gain, or they regained, they put on all the weight they lost, and worse still, they often regained more than what they did. Most of them will always put on plus 15% VAT. If this has never been your experience, or if this has been your consistent experience, be rest assured that you're perfectly normal. When you think about the problem from the perspective of a psycho-socio-economic viewpoint, it becomes crystal clear why attempts to lose weight usually fail when the doctors and dietitians and other weight loss specialists seem not to appreciate that food is a highly addictive substance. Some of the telltale signs of addiction are cravings, needing more of the substance more than what is supposed to be gotten, and changing plans in order to gain access to the substance that you shouldn't be eating. But unlike other addictive substances, we grow up previously discussed knowing very well that food is an ever increasing emotional meaning for us throughout our formative years. Surprisingly, given the sophisticated advancement in other areas of medicine, the medical approach to losing weight has completely failed to deal with our deep emotional attachment to food and has not evolved since the practice of medicine began. Instead of approaching the overweight individual in a holistic way, the traditional approach has seen us using mind-body separation at its worst. Begin as you wish to continue. The medical profession is only just beginning to realize that simply telling somebody to give up smoking because it's bad for you is an exercise in abject futility. I think we have realized that you'll have to be living in a cave in the Republic of Kivuki not to know that smoking is bad for you. Mind you, if you lived in a cave in Kivuki with no access to cigarettes, it will not be an issue for you at all. I would argue that giving up unhealthy food is a much more complicated ask than just telling people don't eat chips and don't drink Coke. The big difference is that unlike nicotine or alcohol, we need food for our very survival. Moreover, as we love or we seem to already know, we develop a much greater attachment to food in our formative years than we'll ever do to nicotine or alcohol. Although some teenagers will prove me wrong because they started smoking at the age of 3. Food addiction is the addiction that we get hooked before we can even walk. Imagine the problem that a heroin addict will have wandering through the day with their heroin available in lots of different forms everywhere they went. They'll get up out of bed, open the fridge door, and there is heroin pounding at them. Opening the pantry door, more heroin. Then they will go out only to be confronted with coffee shops with beautifully presented syringes, all ready to inject with a nice clean needle and a small ball to make it look pretty. How far will the heroin addict get through the day without using it? I believe that food is the most addictive substance on the planet, way more addictive than anything else. And as we trainers expect to go through your day to day constantly, confronted by the food addictive substance that you need to survive, and yet decide what to eat and what not to eat. While the medical profession might have the standard or may they have the good intention, the greater diet industry is equally to blame. The vast majority of diet plans out there tell us that we all have to do is stay away from the bad foods and the weight will fall off. This is usually true only in the movies and when they're telling you. But people that live in the real world, we understand it's not as easy as knowing what to eat and knowing what to eat and going for it. But what they don't tell us is that it is difficult in the long term for you to keep on surviving on salad and only drinking water. Whatever or wherever you start a diet, you must ask yourself, is there something I can see myself doing in 6 months, a year, or in 6 years' time from now? If the honest answer is no, don't put yourself through that heartache and roller coaster of the weight loss cycle. This is the essence of begin as you wish to continue. It's about being honest and admitting to yourself right now up front. If you cannot see yourself keeping up that kind of behavior, then don't start. Trust yourself to answer this question. Just ask yourself and listen carefully. You know that you can't. And once the initial enthusiasm falls away, I suspect you have very probably embarked on a weight loss plan before and failed so many times. Listen to your inner wisdom. Through the following videos, I want to show you how to somehow be different. The Dream Body Fitness way, we start first by going through your weight loss mindset program, which is a workshop where we have to take you and you have to do your emotional exercises to understand not what to eat, but why do you eat the way you do. Check us on www.dreambodyfitness.co.za, and also don't forget to book for our next nutrition workshop. This becomes the only way you're going to be able not only to lose the weight, but to lose the weight and keep it off. I hope to see you soon.